There we go. There we go. Oh, that's a tank, dude. That is a tank. Well, summer is here, and that means hot temperatures, and it also means sometimes the bite can get a little bit tough. So they've put together the July and August bank and creek kit in a way that's going to make sure you get bit, especially when the temperatures start rising. Like right now, we're in southern Ohio and it's barely 8 a.m. in the morning and the real feel is already 88 degrees. So it's a little bit steamy, a little bit muggy, and you may be experiencing the same thing in your part of the country. So let's take out some of these lures and show you how we can get bit and how well they're put together in this hot, steamy, muggy summertime bank and creek kit. So let's go ahead and dive into the bank and creek kit. First off, we are going to show you one of the most classic lures and probably one of the easier ways we're going to get bit on this kit. And that is with the Rebel Middle Juie Crawl. It's great for going a little bit deeper than the classic Juie Crawl, and the pattern on it is just exactly what you're going to find in these creeks and rivers. Most of the areas we're going to be fishing today is right around the 1 to 3 foot depth. So this is going to be absolutely perfect to get down. Let's tie it on. Let's get it bit. All right, getting the day started, guys. If you're not fishing the big structure like this, big logs, you're missing out because smallies absolutely love attacking. And even the little ones are aggressive. They like coming out from that structure. They use it as ambush, little zones where they can come out and just sneak attack. Little things like crawdads, and that's perfectly what we've got on today. Well, even the small guys like attacking crawl patterns. You know, crawls are a favorite food item of smallmouth. You'll be hard pressed to find a smallmouth that doesn't have pinchers sometimes hanging out of its gullet. Well, you can kind of see the hump right here where this riffle starts. Let's pitch just over it and see if there's any fish just kind of laying in wait just over this transition. What's great about this Juie Crawl, even the middle-sized one, is that it's the perfect size where it's not going to get left alone by nearly everything. I mean, you'll be able to catch any panfish, sunfish, bass, crappie, walleye, sawguy, gar. I mean, everything's going to attack this. It's the perfect little crawdad size. And so, yep, there we go. It's the perfect little size for everything to snack on. This is a little bit of a smaller smallmouth, but we've already got 2 of those little guys on this crawl here in just a couple casts. There we go, smallmouth number 2 here on the Middle Juie Crawl. You know, the bank and creek kits aren't probably what you're used to when you're seeing like fishing boxes put together. This isn't like a box of clearance lures. This isn't just stuff that's been packed together to make a deal. Now I want to get bit on each lure maybe a few times. The one thing in this box, there is one thing in this box that I'm a little, oh my goodness, we missed that. There's one thing in this box that I'm a little nervous about, and it's something that I've never thrown in a creek, and I will show that to you guys later. So smallmouth, when it comes to a crawl pattern, they are not going to always risk going after giant crawl patterns, especially when they have giant claws. There was a huge study done about that, about the behavior of smallmouth eating crawls, and they found that the smaller the crawl profile, especially when it comes to pinchers, which this thing's got a small upfront pincher profile, it's more likely to get bit by smallmouth because, you know, they don't want to. Crawdads have pinchers, you know, they don't want to fight against that. They want an easy meal. And so this pattern, that Juie Crawl presentation, is so good at luring in smallmouth for that exact reason. Just saw something jump out there. Let's see if we can, oh, okay. The Juie Crawl catches what? Wee fish? Does it catch wee fish? I think it does. Well, it catches fish of all sizes, but it definitely does catch wee fish. And this is the beauty of smallmouth fishing, is that they are aggressive no matter what size they are. I love fishing for smallmouth. Well, the Juie Crawl got the job done, got us some bass. Next up is one of my absolute all-time favorites. Putting this in the Bank and Creek kit turned this lure from a low usage bait to an absolute top of my list confidence bait, and that is the Booyah Covert Series spinners. I love the action that these have in the creeks and rivers. If you have a little bit calmer flow, that Colorado blade is absolutely going to be what you want to throw. Let's tie this on. I'm sure it's going to get bit in no time flat. All right, my favorite, gotta be one of my favorite all-time lures, especially for just straight up searching. Low snag, really high visibility, great in windy days, murky water days. It's just all around, man, you can't go wrong with a spinner. You can slow roll these near the bottom. Oh, look at that, instantly bit. Slow roll them near the bottom. You can just run them through the current. Do we have a new species on the board? Ladies and gents, we do. It's the elusive, not so elusive, river bully, aka the rock bass, on the spinner. Now you would think, hey, this is a giant spinner. It's gonna weed out some of the smaller bites, but everything attacks a spinner because it looks like a minnow, like shad. And so it really does bring in absolutely everything. I think that's why they call it the covert. It's just covertly able to reel in any fish. Oh, there we go. Fish on. Fish on the spinner. This one's got a little bit more size. I can feel him fighting. The fight is definitely smallmouth-ish. Whoa, got that second wind in him. Oh, hey, I think we got a spotted bass, y'all. A nice little spotted bass. Heck, no. My friends, we have got a creek largie. How about that? What a surprise. That's an actual treat right there. Oh man, we don't get a lot of creek largemouth. That is fantastic. All right, thank you, sir. Largemouth action. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, multi-species on the spinner. Here we go, guys. We have got a certified creek sauger. Look at that. Thank you, buddy. Everything bites the spinner. All right, well, we got 3 species on the spinner. I think that's proven that this thing's gonna get bit in the creek. Now, if you're really looking to up your presentation as far as like lifelike and life-looking action for a dying bait fish, a fleeing bait fish, a bait fish is just kind of like going all over the place, but is actually gonna get just like attacked, it's gonna be the Yum Sonar Minnow. And one of the best ways to pair that up and to give it that lifelike action is to rig it weedless. So they've also included some EWG hooks. These are in a 3/0. We're gonna rig these up. We're just gonna give it some soft flicks. It's gonna go just under the surface. I expect this will go maybe 3 to 6 inches under the surface and just give us that kind of erratic flicking back and forth, maybe walk the dog style action, and the fish are just gonna go nuts. What's great about this presentation is that you can control the speed at which this flicks. So if you want to just flick and just keep it rocking all the time, you can. If they were a little bit more finicky, you can give it 2 flicks and just let it die, let it pause for 3-4 seconds. And sometimes that is the move. Like if you've got a situation where the fish are just, they want to stare at a bait and make sure that it's safe to, you know, take down or attack, or if it's just a day where they're acting very sluggish and it takes a little bit of effort and action to get them to bite. That's the great thing about fishing this style bait in a weightless presentation, is that you can control it, make it do exactly what you want it to do. And today they seem to be chasing, although we are pushing up into the heat of the midday. They're chasing pretty well, so I'm giving this a pretty steady action, hoping that they're still wanting to chase a quickly moving bait. All right, we're getting into a little bit of the current. And the current is a little bit different than working some of the areas with slower water. The current, I am going to do the constant retrieve, constant flick, because that's kind of how these bait fish would travel down this really quick seam, right? They're going to get tumbled down, whether they're out of control or in control. They are not spending a lot of time traversing that riffle. They are going to get in, get out, and move quickly. So they're either being chased or they are making their first run up or down the riffle, trying to get through it. And so I do not slow it down when I'm casting a riffle. I give it constant retrieve, constant action. So in this case, we're just flicking the whole time. Boom, right there on the riffle. We're flick. No pauses, no resting. You can give it wider sweeps and it'll give it a little bit more wider action. So instead of just flick, you can go like that. Oh, did we get a little tiny guy? Oh, he came off. Okay, so right as I was showing you those wider sweeping flicks, something came and attacked it. So, oh, there we go. Oh, spoke too soon. I said, oh, there we go. Oh, he hit it again. He hit it again right on top of that pile of rocks. Something is coming to try to get us. There we go. Got him that time. Little guy, but we got him. Well, little guys got to eat too, right? This is the littlest of little guys. Wow. Okay. Not setting any records right now, but we're getting bit. There we go, right up in the current. Right up in the current he was sitting. Right at the head of that riffle. Man, okay, well. We got 3 fish on each bait, which is kind of, we want to show you that it's not just a one-off. You can get bit multiple times on every single one of these baits. Now, I want to talk about the Sonar Minnow specifically and why it's paired up so well with this 3/0. Now let's reset this and I'll show you exactly why all of this is so important and how they pick this stuff out so well. So you can see that with the 3/0 presentation, look at that hook way in the back of the strike position. So you're not going to get a lot of short strikes here on the tail. You're going to get hookup ratio that is absolutely nice. Now, another thing with the 3/0, you could use a 2 or a 1/0 and this would still work fine, but the weight of the 3/0 is just enough to give that subsurface presentation without allowing this bait to come up and rise to the surface and kind of not do the intended action that we want. So everything is thought out so well in these Bank and Creek boxes. Like I said, these guys are absolute experts at fishing and they know what they're doing. So if you like this type of fishing, consider getting the summer box. July and August, they have loaded it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, we're moving on, but it's getting roasty toasty out here. It's 9:30 in the morning and it is well into the 90s. But that's what's so great about these kits is that they make them so you can get bit in the sweltering heat of summer. With that being said, we are moving on to the Yum 7.5-inch ribbon tail, and we've got an awesome jig head from Great Lakes. Let's pair these up together and use this as a larger profile moving bait. I'm gonna toss it right back where that water starts like moving in the opposite direction. It kind of goes from here, hits the bank, and then starts going backwards in this little pocket. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's a tank, dude. That is a tank. That is an absolute bruiser. Wow, okay. Ribbon tail. Getting it done. Well, just an absolute beautiful, beautiful 16-inch smallmouth. here on the Yum Ribbon Tail out of Bacon Creek Kit, paired up with that Gamakatsu Great Lakes little ball head jig. Thank you, buddy. That's the way we get it done right there. Nice fish. I really would have loved to have shown that fish off a little bit more to you, but he got poked in the tongue and he had a little bit of blood coming out. Didn't want to risk him biting the dust, so we got him back in the water very quickly and made sure that he lives to be a Fish Ohio 18 someday. So the ribbon tail, nice first bite. Let's get a couple more bites on this big boy. Well, hopefully he's not alone out here in this little pool. I kind of thought that this would be a good zone to attack, like I said, with the current coming down, around, and then swirling backwards. This would push some bait fish, some prey their way, and boy, did it ever. He came chasing it. It was funny, I watched him nose it, and he had the softest little bite. He did not attack it. It's like he was just investigating it. Oh, this guy did not investigate it. He just straight up hammered it. Oh no, that was a good spotty. Tried to boat flip him. I should have got down there with a net. Error on the user. Ooh, there we go. Little squeak dog. Man, what is on here? Now he knows he's hooked. Now he knows he's hooked. Sometimes people get confused with these, and it's easy to get confused. Sometimes you can look at the lateral line, that doesn't always tell. Sometimes you can look at the dorsal. You can feel that tongue patch, but one of the surefire ways is if that jaw hinge goes past this back eye, and if you have it out a little bit, it may be hard to tell, but if you've got it closed and you see that jaw hinge go past the eye, that's a largemouth. So there are a couple of baits in here that I'm unfamiliar with as far as throwing in creeks, because I just don't use them a lot. And if there's ever a time where you get to a bait in one of these kits that you're like, I really haven't had much experience with this, for me, it's the Juie Crawl from Great Lakes. I don't throw a tube a lot in the creeks, and they've also paired it up with their own jig head as well. And that is the Great Lakes 1/8 ounce tube jig. Now, if you come across some of these baits, like the tube for me, and you're like, I really don't know how to rig this, I don't know how to fish it, it's just not something I use. In every kit, they put in the Bacon Creek Bite Spec Guide, which has got a little QR code reader on it. You scan that, and it's going to bring you to all sorts of articles, videos, and content on exactly what to do with each of these baits, how to use them in scenarios, what they're used for, just the how-tos, and make you feel more confident in them. With that being said, let's scan this and see what we can find on the tube jig, and then use that knowledge to see if we can get bit here in the creek. All right, guys, let's give this a scan. Bite Spec Guide. Let's see what it says.
As excited about this one as I was the last one, because we've got the GLF Juie Crawl. We've got it in 2.5 inches, but it comes in the color green pumpkin orange belly float. As you can tell by the name, this bait floats. It's really buoyant in the water. We've got our mini GLF tube heads on, and they come in 1/8 of an ounce. And dude, this is the ultimate combo. It's such a unique combo.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I do have him. He was hanging on by a hair there. Oh my goodness, he's got a buddy with him. Look, there was about to be 2 of them caught right here. All right. Juie Crawl. Thank you, sir. All right, the Juie Crawl got us a nice little small jaw. Boom. Heck yeah. All right, well, non-confidence bait no longer. Thank you, Juie Crawl. Nice little small jaw. Thank you, sir. Okay, if we want to talk about baits that I have low confidence in, when it comes to the creek, that's a hollow body frog. You guys know that if you watch me, I am not a lake or pond fisherman. And of course, frogs are absolutely terrific for those areas, especially around the lily pads. But if you can look around me, we are in an area of a creek that is kind of ponded up. It's a little bit larger, calmer area. So we are going to try this specifically in this area. And this will be the absolute first time should I get bit, that I'll get bit on a hollow body frog in a creek, fairly shallow creek. Like we're dealing with maybe 3 feet at the deepest in this area. But I'm excited to try it. I'm excited to try a frog in a creek. Love this pattern. Great looking frog, great action. I'm not at all uncomfortable with how to work a frog. I just don't throw one in a creek very often. That being said, let's see if I can get my very first frog creek fish. Now, if I didn't tell you about this is the Booyah Pad Crasher, and the color is pumpkin seed. So it's got a really bright pattern. I did shorten up the legs just a little bit, a little skirt, just so we didn't get any short strikes. But I'm feeling good about this bait. There we go. Set it right on top of him. I let him eat it for a minute. He is, oh man, he is running right at me. Can't really tell how big this thing is. Oh, he's okay. He's a little nice medium size, upper medium size. Small jaw. All right. There we go, bud. All right, froggy boy. He really swallowed that, so I had to pull that out of his gill plate a little bit. Last but not least is we're going from my low confidence baits to an absolutely banger of a high confidence bait, and that is the Helgermite. It's the Juicy Helgi in matte black from Great Lakes Finesse, and I'm going to pair it up with the Pro X EWG, and I'm going to pair it up with the other thing that I haven't used in this box, which is the 3/16 ounce bullet weights. So it's going to be like a little Texas rig. It's going to leave just a hair of that Helgi sticking off the back of the hook, so we are absolutely not going to get short strokes. If something bites this, we're getting hooked up. Check out the rig here. I like how this is rigged up. It gives us a nice finesse presentation, but doesn't allow for any error as far as hookups or short strikes. I'm confident this is going to get bit immediately. Let's test it out. There we go. That didn't take long. Well, we can call this kit slam complete. We are going to still toss around this little Helgi for a little bit longer. Might actually consider taking this guy weightless and finessing it up just a little bit, but we got that rig complete that we wanted to catch it on. Oh man, I put on the Helgi weightless in the first cast. Man, talk about making sure this is rigged up finesse. We just used the EWG all by itself, and man, finesse style fishing. Not a giant, but man, they are on it immediately. And what we did was we just rigged it up weightless and weedless, and we just text-posed it just a little bit like that. Threw it in, and man, that did not take long at all. They were ready for it. Line straightened out as soon as I threw it in, and small jaws are in attack mode. Ooh, I just saw him. All right, I just saw him come out here. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. I just saw him chase a minnow. Ooh, ooh. There we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. Just sitting on the bankside here. I cast it right down to that log, and what do you know? We got a Juicy Helgi taker in the form of a smallmouth right on this little point. We're kind of sitting. It goes back into like a little cut-off pool. Then we got the river flow right over here. We're sitting on this hillside. Oh, a little sneak attack action. I got a feeling there's more than one sitting out in this little area. And this weedless, weightless rig up of the Helgi is absolutely perfect. There we go. Oh, I waited for him and watched him get it. Yes, sir. We got a few species now on the Helgermite. I think that is what we're gonna call a slam. There we go. Watched him skip on it once, come back for it. Rocky Balboa on the Helgie. This is the multi-species snack here in the creek. Oh, Rocky. Oh, there we go. Little tiny bite. Little finessey bite. Little smallmouth coming out from that little ridge over there. Easy release. Another juicy Helgie. Bite getting it done. There we go. Pulled him off that big old rock over there. What do you pull off rock? Rock bass. That's right. There it is. There it is. Easy release. Little spotted bass. Multi-species action. We're here at the buzzer.
Well, slam complete, and here's what I love most about these kits, especially this one. They thought of not only making it a kit that you could get bit in the heat of summer, but there is something for every part of the water column, which I didn't mention or even really kind of think about until I was editing all my footage. So you've got the top of the water column with your frog, and then just subsurface, you're gonna have your Sonar Minnow, your ribbon tail, and your spinner. And of course, you can jig those if you want. You can even slow roll a spinner off the bottom. But those cover like the next portion of the water column. And then if you go down a little bit further, you know, you've got your crankbait, and then all the way at the bottom, you got your Hellgrammite and your tube. So not only do they cover like what you're gonna get bit on, but they've covered the entire water column in case you want something that's gonna really hone in on that specific style of fishing that you wanna do. Either way, these kits are amazing. You can only get them at lurenet.com. Go to the Bank and Creek section. Link will be down below if you want to get one yourself. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next fishing mission.